Welcome, everybody, to Spirituality. My name is Kat, and this is my good buddy, Joanna. And we are just two longtime spiritual practitioners and spirit interactors dishing some reality on what we think is really going on with certain spiritual concepts. And today we were hoping to talk a little bit about the nature of reality. We're aware that everybody is going to have kind of their own interpretation based on their own experiences. What do you think, Joanna? There's a lot of different ideas and theories about this out there. Have you heard a bunch of them?
Oh, yes, Kat, so many. And yeah, in this video, it's gonna go a little out there, right? Because what I've seen is very supernatural, even to me. I'm a medium. I see spirits, and I thought that was pretty supernatural alone. But I had so many experiences that really blew my mind, especially on certain days that were like a prophecy that was told. So my personally started on the prophetic day of what the Mayan call the shift, and that was December 21st, 2012. And that for me, Kat, was the pinnacle of my start of seeing really supernatural things of what this nature of reality really means. And we'll get into it, but I want to ask you, so what do you think, Kat? What are your thoughts on this encyclopedia of all this definitions?
Well, there's a lot of different ideas out there about the meaning of reality or the purpose of being here. Why do we have a 3D physical construct that we're operating in if we're spirits? Why did we come here? A lot of people roll with the sort of the lessons or cycles. Like there's a learning that we come here to do. It like physical life is a lesson plan. We come here to learn and grow as spirits. And there's other people who feel like we come here to just play and create and live our best lives. That's another sort of idea that's out there. There's also like the concept of reincarnation and karma, like maybe we come here to make up for or to reap the benefit of things that have already happened in previous lives, like sort of in a cycle, either clearing up karma from something or reaping the benefits of karma that we've already assessed. Personally, I think the point, I think all of that kind
Yeah,
of plays into it. So I don't think any of that is necessarily wrong. Do you know what I mean? I think it's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
sort of combinations of all of those things. I feel like the
Hmm.
point of
Hmm.
physical reality is that it makes it so things don't manifest immediately. Like in non-physical reality, imagine like in your dream state, things are constructed around you instantly. Want a cup is there. You know what I mean? The environment, everything changes immediately in non-physical reality, but in physical reality, we don't have that. If you want a cup, you got to go get one from the kitchen. There's a
Hmm.
drawing out of wanting something in action. And I think
Hmm.
that space gives us time to create and want things, to imagine things, and to learn and grow. It gives us the opportunity for lessons and expansion. So I'm not sure. I think all of that is kind of part of it. What do you what do you see this physical reality as being about?
I exactly think the same in regards to that, that I think it's a combination of everything. And I think the version of the truth that people extract from it depends on their background, their beliefs, their soul evolution. So I believe, like again, in the reincarnation. I believe in the manifestation through the non-physical to the physical. I mean, every element of the spirituality to me is truth. There is truth in every single element that actually has ever existed, but it depends on what we focus on. So, I have my own truth of what I see, what I've been through, my experiences, what I sense, what I channeled. So, as I mentioned, that day that I had, the mind called the shift. About a few months later, I started seeing basically the matrix of this world. I started to see the crystalline codes, whatever you want to call it. The It's basically the atomic structure of our reality, which is really made out of light. Like we are light at core, we're just light. And that's why Einstein said 99% is invisible. It's not invisible, it's because it's light, and light, in a sense, basically, it's not in a sense, is invisible. So this activation that I got on that day, I just heard a vibration. It was a pitch. To me, I literally just said, "Wow!" It sounds like the frequency of nature when it was happening in my mind. So on that day at 10 something at night on December 21st, 2012, I was just hanging around the house. I didn't believe any of this shift stuff. And suddenly around 10 something at night, I got this frequency sound like, the tuning forks. That's what it sounded like in my ears. And then it occurred for a few minutes and then it stopped. And then I saw a green orb floating around. I just thought it was just wild, crazy. Like, what is this? So I just kind of went about my life. A few months later, I started seeing this crystalline codes in the matrix. So basically, I didn't know what it was. It took me years to process, right? It took me years. I mean, 12 years, right? Now I'm speaking about it. And in these crystalline codes that I see, we all individually are creating this reality. You are God. I am God. Everybody is a God because God is you and you are God. You're creating all of this basically. I'm an actor, actress, whatever you want to call it, in your script. And the version of me that you see is where you are. Where each individual is a version of that person there because we're multidimensional. So whatever version that you believe to be true in the way that you're feeling, in your body, in your soul self, that is what you're magnetizing to you. And that's why we have limitless timelines, basically. And this is what I was told, in my channeling, what I see. So, and everybody has their version of their truths. You know, um, that's a mouthful to say, but I want to hear you, Kat. I want to hear some of your experiences and what you feel about this nature of reality through maybe experiences or things you've heard. Hmm.
I understand what you're saying in that everybody is literally constructing their own reality, in that every consciousness that's experiencing is actually creating the environment and everything around themselves that they're interacting with. And that means, like you said, also literally creating themselves. As you think, so you are. So we're creating ourselves, our environment, and the reality that we're interacting with. And I was watching something about like multi-world theory or parallel universe theories and all of this stuff quantum physics is thinking about, and I got the download or the hit or the thought that it's not multiple parallel universes or parallel worlds, it's that self consciousness, whether that's you, me, the dog, the cat, everything has a consciousness to itself, and all self is its own multiverse. Like, your consciousness is creating its own universe and all of the parallel universes that all of the other playouts, all of the other yous you could have been, including other incarnations, other life choices you could have made. It's kind of like self is the multiverse. Every individual consciousness is a multiverse rather than it being individual parallel worlds. Does that does that kind of make sense?
Yeah,
I feel like for
it
me I'm still
does. It
sorting
does.
out like the knowing that I get on it.
Yeah, it took me, I mean, Kat took me like what, 12, 13 years to even process what I'm seeing. I mean, because it is so epic. It really is. Even for me looking at it to this day, when I look at it, I usually see it in the light source. It still blows my mind to this day. I mean, I don't think I'll get over it. It just, I got used to seeing it every single day of my life. But I want to mention two things, Kat, about what you said about all timelines exist. I want people to understand this is what I was told, right? That every single decision you make in life, even the choices that you didn't walk down that path, they actually continue onward and exist. That's why being on earth is such an evolutionary journey for the soul, because all souls want to sign up to earth because it is the most I don't want to say dense, most impactful soul evolution you'll take in so many galaxies in comparison to, right? Because you take on
Yeah.
all the timelines you didn't walk, they still exist, and you could actually extract that essence of that timeline. Let's say example, this is a video I've coming out. You wanted to be a singer and you love singing all your life. You want to be, and you didn't, that didn't happen. You didn't walk down that path of being a singer. But you could always extract that essence of that singer and still use it at any point in your life and still actually be a success or something of it, make something of it. Anything in your life, because if it's meant for you, certain things are meant for a soul, will always be in your field. And you can kind of grab onto because it's part of you, it's part of your soul's journey.
Um, a pattern a pattern, once it exists, exists in perpetuity. Like all patterns of self, all patterns of consciousness, all um, versions of self that you could have been, and all the different talents, skills from different lifetimes, from different timelines of self. Once a pattern exists, it exists in perpetuity. It always exists. It can always be called upon to be reinstituted. Something about relating to the body and health and well-being too. Like your cells, once the pattern for healthy cells exists, it exists in perpetuity. It just has to be reinstated to its healthy state. The pattern still exists.
Hmm.
Does that make
That's
sense?
beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow. I love that. Speaking of like, the patterns in the body, I believe we can live hundreds of years. And let me tell you as to why and even how. This is what I was told is because the thing is when you say the patterns, there's patterns that are recreated in our bodies. And those patterns are the frequency, which is basically emotions. Emotions, the way we feel about ourselves, our environment, just everything in our creation. Whatever, there's the higher frequency and lower frequency. Clearly higher frequency is good for your body, of anything, right? The lower densities frequency are the ones that create the ailments and diseases. So if
Mm-hmm.
anybody holds on to the heavier, denser frequency, heavy emotions like sadness, like anger, like guilt, etc., that eventually will create an ailment, and that ailment will create a disease, and they could pass away from that. Because you ever seen those people who, like, let's say example, like smoke and drink and do all this stuff, and then looking at them going, you lived 100? How? Like, you know, like like what's your secret? Honestly, you know what the secret is of life to live long is keep your prana, your life force energy at the most highest vibration you can. What does that mean? It doesn't mean just go out and hug trees and eat the cleanest food. Actually, not necessarily. Your body knows what it wants. Your body knows kind of what it craves. Even sometimes if that means a donut. Really, not in excessive, but just once in a while, it's good to have actually, what they call the bad, but it's in moderation. And it's just really life force energy, like the joy in life. That's it, really. The youthfulness, the joy in life, and not holding on to anything. Literally say, let go. Release any baggage, release any emotions that is not serving you, and you could literally live over 100 years plus.
That brings to mind, actually, for me, okay, my grandfather was a neurosurgeon, and he was a heavy smoker, and he died at like 54 from cancer. But on the other side of the family, my great aunt Sarah, she was a lifelong smoker, whiskey drinker, tobacco chewer. She lived in the hills of Tennessee, spitting in a spittoon, couldn't have no time of day. I don't think she's seen a doctor since the day she was born. You know what I mean? She was
Yeah.
busy. She was doing stuff. She was working. She had things to do. She didn't waste her time thinking about that stuff. And she lived to be like 94 and died in the arms of her boyfriend that was 30 years younger than her.
Yeah,
So
exactly,
really, it's
Kat.
about where you focus your energy in life. She had stuff to do. She was busy living, too busy to be living to be worrying about dying. On the other hand,
Yes.
my grandfather, who was in the medical profession, who'd seen a lot of stuff, he knew that smoking was going to kill him. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think
That
what
is
you
the
know
best
is what you
example.
get in
Yes,
life.
Kat. Yeah.
Does that make
That's an
sense?
awesome, yes, that's, I was going to say, that's an awesome example. I couldn't, like, and it's true, it's real. And I even have examples in my case, because I used to be a senior caretaker. Like when I was in university, I always have just a soft spot for seniors. Like I just love old souls. And, you know, there's so many people I met who are literally 99, like with maybe a slight memory loss or something, but they're like at peak. I mean, and they had wild lives. I mean, they went out and lived. They had so many stories, you know, and like you were saying, drinking, smoking, all this stuff, but they had this life force in them. But the one thing I do want to mention is we create this reality on our terms as we go, but in my belief through my channeling there is destiny and there's free will. So destiny, before you come here, like we're mentioning, what are some of the things is you are contracted here. You decided you were enforced of like, oh, here's a contract, you're going to sign this or not, because you're not going to go into earth before you sign this contract. You actually create it. It's like co-creation. Even me and you co-created, saying, hey Kat, we're going to meet and we're going to do this, create this cool channel and kind of talk about this really interesting stuff that's meant, people to hear. And you co-create with God, yourself, and all the other souls, and to create need lessons in your life to overcome, um, all these contrasts, the light and the dark. So you have to have those lessons to come here on earth, but then you have creation in between, anything you want, you know, and you choose what timeline you want, but you're gonna have your lessons.
Yeah, I've been curious about the contracts, right? The contracts that get made on the other side. I've literally seen them. Like I've been contacted by a spirit that was literally shaking a contract in my face, like, no, you don't understand. We were supposed to do this. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I've seen that it is true that we have prearrangements with other personalities before we enter into a life cycle, almost like we've decided at certain intervals who's playing what part in life in order to get a mutual experience out of it. But like you said, free will is also a thing because at the time I was like, no, I don't know you, go away. Like, you know, I was operating with my human Kate ego in this is what happens when you're an astral traveler and you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? I was my human Kate self going, ugh, who are you? Stop waving that in my face. I don't know who you are. Back away from me. You know what I mean? Stop being so
Yeah.
pushy. I don't like pushy. So I know that free will also exists. Like I know I do have contracts with various types of individuals, but I also know I don't have to necessarily go through with them if I don't want to. I'm not sure what the consequences of that would be or what different directions my life would take if I did. But I do know that you can tell them to piss off because I've done it.
It's true. So the thing is like you have your contract, but if it gets too intense for the soul, then you're not like forced into something so intense that your soul actually can't survive that impact. You actually could ask, and it's not even ask, you actually, in your dream time, you actually go travel into the ethers and have this kind of meeting in a sense going, hey, no, this is just not going to do. I'm not going to be able to basically, exist if I continue on this. I need a change. So, and you're also given opportunities. They'll show up for that change or it'll just end. It depends on like your lessons that you need and all this other stuff, right? But I want to give an example. There's this writer that I read this book. I think it's called I forgot the name of the book. It's something about codes, like the codes of something. And her name is Sue Morter, and she has this really great example about this. She calls it the bus stop conversation. I love the way she says it. She was like, imagine you're at a bus stop and you see all these people, right? And some souls like neighbors and different things, even parents or whoever you're with, and some strangers. And then you go to them. This is kind of like in the ethers where you meet up. It's just like a soul family going, hey, I want this experience. Anybody here for me that wants to sign up with me because I really want this experience. I really want to understand forgiveness. The soul wants to just understand, or unconditional love, you name it. I mean, a million things. And then they look around and go, okay, well, I want to sign up for it. Going, yeah, but I really need something really impactful. So I need there to be like a big car accident where somebody dies. And they're like, and then the other people look, and it's the way she explains. She's like, no, 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 I'm not for that. Some souls go, no, 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 and nobody raised their hand until some soul go, I'll do it. I'll do this. I know I'm going to be, however, but it's going to change your life. It's going to change your perspective, and it's going to create such a impact in your soul that you're going to understand what really forgiveness means. So it's like for there to be forgiveness, like in my personal experience, I had my parents who had separated, and my mom kind of disappeared for a few years. And I didn't know who she was. I thought she was dead, honestly. And that was very impactful in my life. So that was an example of forgiveness because after a few years, she reconnected, we reconnected, and there was forgiveness.
So, am I getting it straight what you're sort of saying? Because I kind of feel this way, and I don't know, that we're working with like a construct that's like Matrix style, except not created by evil aliens that are trying to use us as batteries, but really created by ourselves for the purpose of experience and expansion.
Exactly. Exactly. It was not created by evil aliens. It was created by us, like God's source itself. The evil aliens are just the ones who are just trying to distract us from our creation. That's all it is.
I think so too. I think that this is a I think that physical reality, the way that we experience, is a technique of experience, condensing things down to where we can interact with it in a tangible format. This is a technique that we use for expanding experience, for growing creation. I'm not sure that reality is a literal place at all.
No, it's a
Sorry if
dream.
that sounds like a crazy, that's my hot take. I'm not sure it's a place at all. I'm thinking that this is a technique we use to expand our own experience as consciousness.
Yeah, yeah. They say, cat, life is a dream, right? Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So even though this is real, because it means so much to our soul evolution, like in a sense, this is very true and very real, but very not. So I don't want people to mislead, going, oh, this is just a hologram, or this is just, it's not a real or something. People, I don't want them to misconstrue, misunderstand that, because it is very real and it means so much to your soul and to the interconnectedness to everybody else, right? So,
Hmm.
you know, but this creation is both joyful, supposed to be joyful, like a child playing this creation, but within this creation, there are still challenges to overcome. So it's two sides, right? Two sides to a coin: the joy, the creation, the excitement, everything. And then the other side of the coin is the heavier stuff, right? All in one. It's all in one. I mean, that's kind of what it's meant for. It's beautiful creation in the end. In the end, it's really beautiful, you know?
Yeah, I've considered that before, like the idea that if this knowing becomes widespread, do people start treating things like it doesn't matter? Because I think all experience matters, like all experience is valid. I almost kind of don't like this word real, right? Because what is real? Whatever is real is what's real to me or what's real to you. And there's this tendency to want to draw a line in the sand. Like, no, this teacup is real, but the teacup in your dream, that's not real. And it's like, well, I experienced both.
Yeah.
And I feel like both have value and build, right? Like, you know very well that a nightmare can be just as terrifying or traumatizing as something that happens in real life. The only difference is we tell ourselves the nightmare isn't real, so it doesn't matter. But you still have the experience. Or a dream can be nice and pleasant, and you can wake up in a wonderful mood. So all experience is valid in building on who you are. So I'm not sure trying to write things off like they don't matter. I think all of it matters.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful.
All right, so that's our take and our experience on what we think is really going on with 3D reality. Feel free to drop us a comment and let us know what you think. Everybody's experience is going to create a kind of different interpretation or a different outlook on this, and it's a super interesting topic. We would love to hear from you on it. You can check out Joanna over on her channel, Confessions of a Quantum Channeler. I will drop the link in the description. She's going to be having some videos explaining more about her stuff and the way that she's learned in her experiences.
Yes, that's right. Coming out very soon. Yep, just starting rebranding and starting this week, posting up my really insightful, videos about the quantum world, what I see, and all these really cool phenomena that I want to talk about.
Yeah, it's super interesting stuff. So hop on over there and check her out. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe if you dig the vibe and you want to keep watching. Thank you so much for joining us for spirituality, and we will see you later.